the time to arise. For so long we have been hypnotized. Release yourself from status quo, that's the key. Let's be the change that we want to see.
Hi, Katja.
Thank you, Barbara. Hi. Welcome to everyone. It's a pleasure to be able to speak to you here from wherever you might be tuning in. So for the next 15 minutes, I ask you for one thing only. Listen not just with your rational mind, listen also with your intuitive mind, listen with your heart and with your soul. Because what you're going to hear about unfolding your potential, it might resonate with you, or it might also trigger you on a subconscious level. So embrace whatever comes up for you with curiosity. Today, I'm going to share with you why intuition is our gateway to higher cosmic consciousness and how tapping into exactly this higher intelligence and expanding our state of consciousness allows us to transform, allows us to kind of upgrade our human operating system. But first, let me introduce myself. Barbara already did it a bit. My name is Katja. I'm a consciousness and transformation coach, also an initiated shamanic priestess, a transformational experience designer. And I speak from my very own experience when I tell you that those moments when you follow that hunch in your gut, when you follow that inner voice, that those moments have the potential to completely shift the trajectory of your life. Intuition, that's the topic of today. Intuition has become the red thread in my personal life story. If you would have met me a few years ago, my life looked completely different. You would have found me in the middle of a corporate career, holding a managing position at a global online fashion retailer, sitting in a big city office, and also sitting in the confinement of, the limited idea about what a successful life had to look like. And all of this created by my own rational mind. Little did I know back then that just a few years fast forward, my life would have changed 180. So meanwhile, I have left the corporate world after being 10 years in there. And I have changed career directions from selling fashion to catalyzing personal growth. So also me, I've been through my own very deep transformational journey, which I want to share with you now. I became an entrepreneur in a field that some people from my old life, from the old world I've been in, still have a hard time to grasp. I have spent 4 months as a kind of spiritual hermit on a Caribbean island, learning from a shaman, learning about navigating consciousness, learning about nature, about energy work, how to really connect and put your mind in a different paradigm. And I'm also about to move to the Mexican jungle soon, where I'm creating personal transformation retreats for people and helping to also build up a regenerative community. Intuition. So intuition even saved my health. 6 years ago, I went to see a dermatologist for a regular skin checkup because I had noticed like a change on a spot on my body. And the doctor assured me that it was nothing to worry about. But my intuition told me different. My intuition in that moment insisted that I needed to remove this, whatever it was. So I listened to my intuition and I did remove it. And to everybody's surprise, even to the dermatologist's surprise, it turned out that it was skin cancer, which I luckily removed before it had the chance to spread. But that very moment taught me that I will never, ever, ever doubt my intuition again. And I have been living by that since then, really, really embracing intuition. It was also my intuition that called me to visit a specific place in Central America a few years ago. A place whose name I had never heard of before, Palenque. But the very moment I read this name on the map, I knew something was waiting for me there. Like my entire body responded to it. And I knew I had to go to see this place. So I followed that calling. And it turned out that on my way there, I got invited by a stranger on a bus, the serendipity of life. I got invited to spend a few days with him and his friend, the shaman in the jungle. Would you have said yes, following the invite of a stranger? I did, because my intuition told me that I should. And I'm very happy I did, because this experience, this stay in the jungle, completely changed my life. And now looking back, that was also the beginning from transitioning out of my corporate career, out of my old life path, into what I do now, and into what is way, way more aligned with me and who I am. So why am I sharing this story with you? My human operating system in the past had been mostly run by the rational mind. And things accelerated for me really, really fast when I allowed intuition to have a major part in it. And intuition is an ability we all have access to. We're born with it. It's in us. We just have forgotten how to access it. And I'm sure if you think about it, you can recall many experiences from your own life where your intuition was speaking to you, where your intuition was trying to get in touch with you. So the question is, are you listening to your intuition and those insights or not? Listening to your intuition sometimes means taking some serious decisions that neither make sense for your rational mind nor anyone else around you. That could be quitting a job or leaving a person you love or trusting someone with your life, or also not, without having the evidence. It means allowing your inner voice to guide you through the unknown. Intuition is not explainable by reason. It rather kind of functions in a quantum leap through knowing without evidence instead of deducting a decision with a rational mind. But this is how our Western culture teaches us to operate in daily life, right? We're mainly using our logical left brain and letting it override the other half, the intuitive mind. Yet using the intuitive mind is exactly what kind of catapults us to the next level. So why are we not doing it? Einstein once called the intuitive mind a sacred gift and the rational mind a faithful servant. And I really love that, because he also pointed out that we have created a society that kind of got it mixed up, that we're honoring the servant and that we have completely forgotten about the gift. So what is intuition? There are so many words that describe it. It's our inner voice. It's our compass. Some people refer to it as your soul's voice, your inherent guidance system. There are really, really so many words that describe it, but basically it's our innate power to access knowledge instantly without any conscious rational thought. And it's an ability to bypass linear thinking and directly download the truth or the insight that you need in that very now moment. And how does intuition show? So for me personally, I sometimes feel it as a bodily sensation in my solar plexus area, or as a subtle voice from within, or just as an instant knowing. Like in that moment when I knew I had to go to this specific place, to Palenque. But it feels very different for everyone. So I invite you to think about, how does intuition feel for you? And when was the last time you have felt it? That is an even more relevant question. When was the last time you have felt it? You have really felt it. And did you act upon it? Rational thinking, logic, and intellect, they are limited. Only 10% of what we actually perceive in our surrounding through our senses gets stored in our conscious mind. And the other 90%, they go straight to our subconscious. And through intuition, we're able to pull up all those relevant information from the subconscious and bring it into our awareness. And suddenly it's just there. And then often the rational mind directly starts questioning. It's questioning, finding reasons why it's not good to act upon it. So the trick is to quiet the rational mind, the servant, to kind of create a balance between the left and the right brain, and to open us up to receive information beyond our awareness. And what does intuition have to do with cosmic consciousness? Well, it works in a similar way with accessing cosmic consciousness. Cosmic consciousness is a higher form of consciousness than that which we possess as ordinary human beings. And there are ways how to tap into it. And right now is actually a really, really exciting time to be alive as a human, a time in which quantum mechanics is bridging the gap, or rather, let's say, dissolving the borderline between what in our culture is considered as science and as spirituality. The hard facts, the material manifestations, and the mystery, the supernatural. And quantum theory also proves how everything is connected. Everything basically is consciousness. And yet we're experiencing only a tiny part of this consciousness through the filter of our rational mind. Okay, let me repeat that. We're only experiencing a tiny, tiny part of the consciousness that is available to us through the filter of our rational mind. And cosmic consciousness, the quantum field, the forces of the universe, the higher realms, the Akashic records, whichever terminology resonates most with your belief system, they all describe the same thing, that there are information accessible for us beyond of what is stored in our personal conscious or subconscious memory bank. And it's your intuitive powers that will also allow you to perceive beyond the five senses that we have learned to use. So your intuitive powers are kind of like the uninterrupted download line to the cosmic mind of the universe. But how do you connect to your intuition? Well, the first step is to be aware of your body, to connect with what you're feeling and perceiving. The key to training intuition, or also extrasensory perception, is to create inner peace. Peace between the rational mind and the intuitive mind, the left and the right brain, which mostly means just getting out of your own way, quieting the rational mind, connecting with your body, and allowing yourself to really move from thinking to feeling, altering your state of consciousness, altering your brainwave frequencies to one that supports being more receptive. And without going into the neuroscientific details about the different brainwave frequencies, what is important to know is that there are different states, aka frequencies, and that they influence our state of consciousness. And where it gets really interesting is that there are also many ways how you can change your frequency. For example, through deep meditation, through breathwork practices, through music like binaural sounds, through all kinds of exciting consciousness technologies out there, through ancient practices like shamanic trance, or working with psychedelics and plant medicine like ayahuasca. So there are various methods to alter your state of consciousness, and I have explored a few of them, and there is no right or wrong. The right thing is what works for you and what feels best. So for the meantime, all of those methods are kind of just helpers that we won't need anymore once we have upgraded our human operating system to a point that it has become natural for us to use intuition and extrasensory perception besides reason. At any time we choose to instantly put ourselves in the right state of consciousness. So what is the takeaway from all of this? Once we start integrating the intuitive mind and the rational mind, once we use our bodily sensations to perceive what is, and not just our rational mind to think, this is the moment when we say yes to our full potential, when we say yes to really opening up to the receiving gateways to the universe, and that's a whole new way of being human. Osho, the Indian philosopher, once said, in a better world, the people of intuition will be the guiding lights for those who can understand them intellectually. And the intellectuals will be the guide for the instinctive. And only this way the world can be at ease. So when do we start training our intuitive muscles just like we train our physical body? It's time to connect the intuitive and the rational mind so we can really operate from our full capacity. And my hope is that sharing what I've shared with you was an inspiration to really invite your intuition in next time you hear it knocking, and to notice when your mind kicks in, to question it, and then to consciously choose to stay open so that intuition can become a part of your personal journey. Thank you all for listening. And if this resonated with you, feel free to reach out. I'm a big fan of human connection.